Concern for him is that you get so many fights and you spend so much time in the gym and you fight a certain level of competition. He's 35-0 and he hasn't fought an elite guy yet. Some people say nobody wants to fight him, but you still got to deal with the fact that you haven't had that type of danger that you need on the other side of the ring to turn your senses on at the highest level. We can see what your defense is when you got real danger in front of you. We can see what your offense is when you got real danger in front of you. And I see Boots at times get hit with shots that works with this guy, but it's not going to work with that guy. And what happens is if you spend too long at a certain level, you start to get a false sense of yourself. You assume and you tell yourself, I can take a shot. I walk through that. Why can't I walk through this? I walk through this in sparring. Sparring is different than a fight. This level is different than this level. Do you have any concerns about where Jaron Boots Ennis is right now in his career? And if he doesn't get this Virgil Ortiz situation, what next?
Well, I'm going to keep it real with you. I hear that flack and the stuff that they say about Boots Ennis, but I can tell y'all one thing. The guy he fought, Steonis, nobody wanted to fight that kid. Nobody wanted to fight Steonis. None of the top welterweights wanted to fight Steonis. Boots took Steonis to school. Boots is the kind of fighter that will fight to the caliber of his competition. Mm-hmm. You bring him something real, you're going to see real Boots.
So Andre Ward has some choice words for Jaron Ennis, and Roy Jones seemed like he got a relationship with Ennis. So that is the difference right there. So basically Andre Ward said, Boots need to fight somebody before he ended up getting comfortable bum bashing. He said all that in the gym doesn't matter. You start to believe some of the things when you fight lower competition. You can take a punch. I can walk through anything. It gives you a false sense of invulnerability, right? Superhuman strength. And it happens all the time. I mean, PBC, you've seen reality shock day fighters that, and you're supposed to do that. Let me say that first and foremost. When you matchmaking, you're supposed to build up your young fighter confidence from 0-0 to about 15-0, 20-0. Okay. Going by old time standards, they fight 4 or 5 times a year. Yeah. About 3 to 4 years worth of consistent work. And you building this fighter up, you building the confidence up. But when you start stringing it out, I believe Boots is 35-0. Somebody said something like that. But when you start stringing it out over years, so you start talking about 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and you run into, you Jamel Charlo, and you run into a Tony Harrison, or you're Errol Spence, and you run into a Terrence Crawford. They wasn't groomed correctly. You keep Thurman, you run into a Manny Pacquiao. They're not being groomed correctly. You Deontay Wilder, you went into a Tyson Fury. They're groomed just like Boots being groomed. It's to string this out as long as possible. And you see that with Gervonta Davis. And somebody made a side note on X. It's always deflection instead of addressing what's being said. Well, Andre Ward won't say nothing about Shakur Stevenson, and I don't even like Shakur Stevenson, but his resume is by far better than Boots. Oscar Valdez, it ain't a Valdez on Boots' resume. All right, let's just keep it real. I'm just going off what I remember. Ain't no Valdez on his resume. It may not be a Williams Zepeda on their resume, but I ain't here to talk about that. But that's one thing I think that's very feminine. When somebody, and sometimes it's a valid question, I'm a valid answer, but a lot of these guys don't use it correctly when they always deflect. Well, he don't say this about him, or he don't say this about this. Like, a lot of it is deflection. That's how you know what he's saying is true, is that they deflect. All right, that's just what it is. They deflect from the question. You know what I'm saying? But look, but they stretch these guys out to make as much money as they can as possible. That's what it is. That's why they stretch it out, because they don't believe these guys are the real deal. So when they do, that's why I think about it for a minute. Why do you want to be 30 years old, 32, 33 years old or older, and you get your first major fight? Think about that you get your first major fight. And if you win that fight, your dollar amount just excels after that. You want that at 25, 26, if younger, 27. You want that before you get old. That way, if I get that Sugar Ray Leonard fight at 25 and I clip him, I'm the man. Or I get that Tyson fight at 25 and I clip him, all my bag just gonna keep going up, 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 and up. But if I'm 30 and I fight 35, 33, 32, and I get that first big win, how many more big wins I'm gonna get? I'm already older. A fighter's prime is like late 20s. It's like late 20s, early 30s on a good day. So depending on the fighter in the wars, really they prime really sits 27, maybe to 31 on a good day. The majority of it is really 27, 28, 29 is usually a fighter's good years. They prime years. So if I can start getting a Mayweather fight, a Tyson fight, or anything like that, Oscar De La Hoya fight, and then I can just keep banking it, that's what you want to do. And he's telling Boots, like, you're falling into a false trap. Like, I'm invulnerable, I'm invincible, I'm the man, I can't be beat because what you're doing in the gym. In the gym, it's not the same thing as a fight. You got bigger gloves, you got headgear on, you don't have lights. There's bad days, good days that people don't see on a regular day basis. And Andre Ward is being factual with him. At some point, you got to step up. Then, I might play Roy Jones' part. So Roy Jones said, he fought Stayonis. Nobody wanted to fight Stayonis. That's bullshit. Nobody give a fuck about Stayonis. And I love Roy. Stayonis wasn't in the void. Stayonis lost to Thomas DeLorme. Nobody avoided Stayonis. Nobody. Virgil Ortiz was going to fight him. They both got sick. So nobody, he tried to make, Stayonis wasn't the boogeyman. Jaron Ennis wasn't the boogeyman at welterweight. Let's stop it. He turned down a Crawford fight. Stop it. Come on, man. He turned down a Norman fight. Say what you want to say. They found money to pay Stayonis, but they couldn't find money to pay Norman. If Norman was a sweet lit, you find that money to pay Norman. But they didn't do it. So this whole thing that he fought the boogeyman and Stayonis and he was avoided, that's bullshit. I won't even say that's subjective. That's just straight up malarkey. He must have a relationship. At the end of the day, what Andre Ward is saying true. When the fuck you gonna fight somebody? The time is now. Like, the time is to step up and do it now, or forever hold your peace or keep bump bashing. And anytime somebody, got a fast car and they don't want to race it, ain't that fast of a car then. It ain't that fast of a car. They don't really believe in Jaron Boots Ennis. I'm telling you, they don't believe in Jaron Boots Ennis. I promise you that. They don't believe in him. Because you would have opened up, you would have opened that up. You would have been like, come on, we dogs. We want anybody, anytime, any place. You don't have them mentalities no more. Whoever want to step up can get beat down. Punks jump up to get beat down. Boom, 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 boom. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the fact. So, but nonetheless, they don't feel like they got a dog. And I was listening to Leon Muhammad talk about, I think he had the brothers mixed around. And he said that Bonzi rushed one of the brothers too fast and he lost. And now he taking his time with the youngest son, and what it is. But like I said, Andre Ward telling the truth. And you beating Virgil doesn't prove anything. Virgil has not been a world champion. Virgil is not solidified. Virgil is not a certified blue chipper. He's not a certified blue chipper. So what you beating Virgil Ortiz? What does it prove? And I'm gonna talk about that in another video. I don't know what succession I'm gonna add. I'm gonna put them in. But you beating Virgil Ortiz? What does it prove? What does it prove? That's a great question. You beating Virgil Ortiz? What does it prove? He ain't did shit. You ain't did shit. So. But I agree with a lot of what Ward had to say on the situation and the scenario. But people gonna say you hate. Address what he said. Don't address the messenger. Don't address deflect. Address the message. And what he's saying is right. This is what you've seen with PBC. This was their belief. This was their belief. This was their belief. This was their belief. This is their belief, was to string it out, be CB4 boxing promoters, dress these guys up as best as possible, and then cash them out at the end. If you feel like you got a dog, you want to cash in. You ain't thinking about cashing out. If you got a dog, you cashing in. You like, I got a dog. I got a ringer here. I got Seabiscuit. Come on, we smoking anybody. You know, just think about if you confident and they say, well, okay, we put $1 million up to anybody that won a one-on-one tournament, and you confident you could beat everybody at LA Fitness, a Lifetime, wherever you hooping at, or at the Rucker, you know what I'm saying, on the parquet, you know what I'm saying? Come on, and you can just enter for free. You put $100 up. You want to, like, bro, you confident in your ability, you're going to go out there and you're going to compete. No ifs, ands, buts about it. It's nothing. Think about these fighters. They're hesitant because they are not that good. They don't believe in their abilities. It's as simple as that. The best thing is when you just able to naturally react. These guys are hesitant. I'm telling you, they don't believe in their abilities. I keep telling y'all that. This is why you don't hide nothing that's great. If you got something to share with the world, you ain't hiding it. If he was really that good, they would put him out there. He not that good. I'm telling you. They not that. His little light of mine, if he is gonna let us, they ain't letting it shine. Because it's not a lot of light to let shine. I'm telling y'all what they doing. And Ward is absolutely right. If he's any good, it's something that he can't take a punch. It's something that they know. It's something that they know. I'm telling you. Whatever it may be, was it his defense and they said they got phone recordings of his dad saying, no, they don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. I'm telling you, they know he ain't that good, bro. That's how I knew the whole PBC roster was fraudulent. Scam likely, but hey, hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch. Hit the link in the description. Hit the link, main link. Join the Patreon. Peace.